just can't do these invasion events. I'm over it so
That's
hard.
been the one complaint I've heard of it, is that it's just another invasion event. So, not that we won't have this conversation in the show, but
interesting tie-in. I was listening to 11 O'Clock Comics this week, and they were having, not in regards to King in Black, but they were having this conversation about team books and how largely across the board in both the big two and Marvel, or in DC and Marvel in both of the big two series, the team books have not, like, they're supposed to be the flagships, and like literally nobody's talking about them. They're not gaining any hype. They've been lackluster and poorly written, for the most part.
you're saying team books.
Yes.
I thought you were saying teen books.
No. TEAM.
Yeah,
sorry.
team. Yeah. No,
South,
you're good.
Southmouth.
No, that was me.
but the reason being is because they have to continue going up on the threat level, and at some point when you reach the cosmic scale, how do you can't go up anymore, and so the writers just don't know what to do. Which, to my response to that is go back and look at what Kurt Busiek and George Perez did with the Avengers. Like they brought it back down to the ground game, and let it sit there for a while. And I don't understand why people can't figure that out. And there's lots of reasons to that, but yeah, it's the same. It's kind of like what Matt's talking about with the just
Event fatigue.
well, invasion, like cosmic threat fatigue. Like everything's a cosmic threat. Everything's a cosmic threat.
That's the point I'm at with the movies, with the MCU. I don't need another cosmic threat. Please give us something else for a while.
Yeah. Well, that's, and on that note, that's what's got me so excited about one among many reasons of the new Batman movie is street level. Street level is, it's not the Justice League movie where, again, invasion. It's not, there's a nuclear bomb that's going to go off,
And this is like basically new Batman. This is Batman that's only been doing it for a couple of years. So I expect him to make mistakes and stuff. Yeah.
That way.
Oh, man, I'm stoked for that movie.
I am too.
Just because you mentioned it, do either of y'all have are y'all going to watch the new, the revamped Justice League movie when it finally comes out?
Only because it's for free.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch it eventually, I guess. It's not on. I'm not anticipating it. Like, I can't wait. That fucking asinine redesign of Steppenwolf.
Yes,
oh my God.
This is like just when you think Snyder can't make a bigger jackass of himself, he's going to continue to top himself.
I think he can.
That's
your mistake, Matt, is you believe he can.
I thought him trying to explain his own movie constantly years after it come out because he's such a fucking shitty storyteller. I thought that was as bad as it gets. And now he's got this Strife ripoff that he's put into his movie. And that's the first thing I thought of. Is like, that's Strife. That's a Rob Liefeld character, Strife. Get the fuck out of here with this. I mean, it's unreal.
Like
this fucking guy.
I'm gonna watch it, but that's because it's gonna be, well, not free, but I'm already paying for the service anyway. So
I mean, I'm not actively gonna boycott it or anything. I'm just in no hurry. Like, if Roger wants to sit on the couch and be like, "Hey, what's this cool thing?" and wants to flip it on, I'll sit and watch it with him. But
first of all, you're gonna say, "Wait a minute, what cool thing?"
Yeah. First of all, you're gonna say, "Sorry, hon. No, not the cool thing. Don't say that again."
I mean, I'm one part of me, I'm against it because it's internet crybabies getting their way. And I didn't like the original, so I'm not sure that any amount of editing is going to make me like the revamped version.
Well, number one, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Southern Fried Geekery. This is episode 154, and I'm Caleb.
I'm Craig.
Whoa, wow, that was threw me off there.
That was my bad. I jumped in too soon.
You're gone 1 week, Matt.
Yeah, right.
We forgot who are you?
Yeah.
It was the weird change in conversation, I think, threw me off. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no, sorry. Well, it's good. I just don't want like 17 minutes of intro before we finally get there. So now that that's out of the way and we've introed and we've said hello to all of our fans, friends, and people who hate listen to us, if that's a thing. Who can say? I can't say. But okay, so back to the matter at hand. I agree with you on that, Craig. Like it is this weird thing where it does feel like the worst parts of internet culture are being placated. On the other hand, the circumstances surrounding why Snyder had to walk away from that movie with his child dying.
Yeah, for sure.
That part, I'm tragic. Like, yeah, like I get it. You want a chance to make the movie that you should have made, and on that aspect, I'm like, okay, I get it. But the other movie was bad, and some of that was Joss Whedon's fault. But not for nothing, he had a lot to do with parts of that movie that I don't think meshed well. It really did feel like two different movies got made. But yeah, I'm not.
Mostly, it just felt forgettable.
It kind of was. Well,
I wish I could forget about it better.
I mean, there's a couple of scenes in the movie that are worth talking about. Most of it's just crap. Yeah, Martha. No, it's it's yeah.
Well, we came in heavy with opinions this morning. I liked it. got me all ready to go.
An opinionated talk show with opinions. Imagine that.
Well, how's everybody doing this week?
Well, I'm currently sore.
It's good for you.
Trying to blow the leaves out of my yard with a blower, and man, my back's sore, my arms are sore, but I got probably 4 more days worth of work out there to get it done.
Well, take your time. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, what's going anywhere is that they only pick them up with the truck. They got that in. I don't know if they have this in Little Rock, but over here they've got the truck that comes by and just sucks the leaves up, so you don't have to bag them. But that only goes for a little bit longer, so I got to get them out to the street before I have to bag the damn leaves too.
Okay. No, we don't have that here. Well, not in that respect. There's plenty of suck trucks around Little Rock, but that's a whole different story. Well, hey, this is another exciting episode of the Southern Fried Geekery podcast. We want to welcome everybody. But before we get to talking about the things that we love talking about, just kind of reiterate, because I got finger wagged a few weeks ago. I don't think I mentioned it, but we spoiled something for somebody. And it was one of the episodes where I forgot to do a spoiler warning. So I'm trying to be better about that. But, we're going to talk about the books. We usually do a really good job about saying, hey, this is what book I'm about to talk about. So if you want to read it, haven't read it, tap out now, push pause or skip a few minutes ahead. So this is your handy dandy spoiler warning. So, you can't get mad at me.
I mean, we do our thing and we tell everybody it's, a spoiler most episodes.
Right.
But I mean, if we're 3 years into this, if you don't realize we're spoiling comic books at this point.
Well, to be fair.
But that's not fair.
Wait, no, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, anybody could jump on at any time, though, Craig.
That's
what I was going to say. So the person, and it's somebody that I know, and I had sent the podcast to, and I was just like, hey, I do this thing. You're interested? You might check it out.
Gotcha.
And they listened, and it was their first time. And like I said, they were like, yeah, but I thought you guys were going to give rough synopsises, and next thing I know, you were talking about the end of the book, and I was just like, whoa. And that's fair, right? So that's on.
It is fair.
Not going to stop talking about the meat and potatoes of the book because that's what we do, but it is on us to do the due diligence, which I've now done. Diligence has been dude. There's a vernacular thing there that's weird. So back to the matter at hand. What have you guys been reading this week?
Craig?
Yeah, I'll go first. I have a feeling there's going to be some overlap this week. Batman number 104, James Tynion and a plethora of artists worked on this book. Not sure why they had so many artists on it, but they did. This gave us the backstory for Ghostmaker, the new character, was kind of interesting. Daredevil number 25, of course, Marvel Comics, Chip Zdarsky and Mark Cicchetto. I kind of wish I hadn't talked about Daredevil last week, but this was a fantastic issue with, of course, the new design of Daredevil, which I'm not going to say more than that. But yeah, fantastic new design, good story, interesting where it's going. I love that they're doing something new with this character. Dead Body Road #6, Justin Jordan, Tiesma and Lopes. This was the final book in this story arc. I thought just a fantastic ending to this book. Matt, I don't know, did you finish it?
Oh yeah, it's on my short stack too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the. I had a feeling we were going to have overlap here. I really felt like that ending was outstanding.
Yeah, that's what I get for being considerate. God damn it.
What we should have done is just co-talked about them.
Yeah. I mean, it's Dead Body Road was really good. The ending was obviously, I mean, the whole series was great. The ending was really good. It was atypical. That's what I really appreciated about it. It didn't have a cookie cutter ending to the story. And the whole motivation behind the antagonist in this story was atypical as well. But you really didn't figure that really didn't come to light until I believe it was issue 3, maybe 4. Right. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, okay, this guy may be somewhat justified here. It really, you didn't know he was really so much of a bad guy. So yeah, it was a good story. I recommend anybody check this out that's looking for a crime story doesn't really fit the mold.
Yeah, as Justin Jordan said, it's an anti-revenge story, or reverse revenge story, I guess would be the better way to put it.
Yeah. And also on my short stack was Daredevil as well. Really, really good. This is, I was surprised. I went back to the shop to pick up another book on Thursday, and I was surprised there were still Daredevil number 25s on the shelf, given all the hype around this issue. But yeah, so interesting things are going to be happening moving forward after number 25. One thing that's not spoilery that I will say that I'm really excited about is to see what is going to happen with Matt Murdock behind prison walls.
That's going to be great.
Something about that. I always look forward to that kind of setting when you have a street level vigilante that is sent to prison, and how they, how that story progresses while they're behind prison walls. That is a trope that I always look forward to. And my two favorite are when it happens to Frank Castle and when it happens to Matt Murdock. Those are my two favorites. So I'm really looking forward to number 26 and on, not only because of what's going on in the streets that I'm not going to spoil, but what's going to happen with Matt Murdock behind prison walls. So yeah, I'm really,
the fact that there were still Daredevil number 25s on the shelf just makes me enjoy our local comic book shop that much more. The fact that he didn't pull them down after filling his pre-orders or his boxes and then mark them up, just shows the integrity of Kapow Comics, in my opinion.
Yeah, unless he forgot.
I've never seen him do that.
I know. I'm joking.
No, I get it, but I've never seen him do that. So
to round
book
out
that went up that much. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
To round out my short stack was number 11, the Suicide Squad book by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo. This was it was a really fun series. It was a nice ending. But what was interesting is apparently this is launching a new team. But given the slaughter that's been going on over at DC, who knows if it's actually going to happen or not? Probably not, is what my guess would be. But it was a fun ending to a really fun series that still surprised that I enjoyed.
It's weird that the book is ending on 11.
It's because the future stuff starts next month.
Since you guys both spoke on it, the new Daredevil book, I heard a little bit about that. So apparently speculators were doing the speculator thing and, trying to get their hands on all the books they could and then flip them. What was it just because there's a new costume? I mean, what was the impetus of this whole speculator push?
Well, we were trying not to spoil it. I mean, to tell you, we'd have to spoil it.
Okay, that's fair. Gotcha. That makes
Yeah, and it's a pretty big deal, So maybe next week.
well, y'all can just slide it into my DMs. We'll work that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was weird because I was just like out of nowhere this became a thing, and again, what I think is cool about Kapow Comics over in Sherwood is that they like if you go into the store, they have little signs posted up, and they're like, look, new the week the comic comes out, new books, you get one copy. Or like they actively limit people's ability to come in here and scrounge up all the books to flip them.
Unless you've been signed up for that book forever for multiple copies.
Right. Yep. And I think that's great. And you know what? Even if they know the book is going for stupid money on eBay or whatever it is, they're not upping the price of the books. Not the first day. As the week goes on, like by the end of the week or the next week, they might jump it up a little bit to make a profit. That's their prerogative. They're a business and they should do that. And to be fair, if somebody's going to come in there, snag the book, not read it, and then turn around and go sell it on eBay, they might as well make their coin. Like respect to that game. But I love the fact that they're like, no, the first week that you're getting this book at list price, you can get one copy. We're not playing with speculators. And I would love to see if that would I would love it if that became an industry standard because I cannot stand speculators. Like that shit drives.
Well, and they got a lot of pushback for that when they first started that policy.
Yeah, fuck
there
them.
were people that jumped him on the internet and left some negative reviews and stuff like that, and he stuck to his guns. So, good on him.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
The people who do that hurt the industry more than they help it. So, yeah. So I love that they do that, and that's just kind of the again we do this every so often, but shout out to Matt and Tony and the rest of the crew over at Kapow. If you're in Central Arkansas, you need to be checking that comic shop out because they good folks, and a cool store, like a legitimately cool store. So, all right.
Yeah. So your third books, it's Dead Body Road and Daredevil, are definitely on yours. What's the third one?
Talking to me or Matt?
You. I'm playing though.
No, none of those books, in fact, are on mine.
Poor taste. Poor taste.
After as long as we've been friends, and after as much of this show as we've done, you already know I have bad taste. This is not a surprise. No, so
I tell Justin Jordan you're not reading Dead Body Road.
I am reading Dead Body Roads.
Oh, okay.
It's just not on my short stack. You know me better than this, dude. No, so I read a new graphic novel that came out this week, and it's from Aftershock. It's written by Steve Orlando. Philip Kennedy Johnson did the art on it, some Al Morgan action, and Jim Campbell on the letters. And the book is called Kill a Man. This might be my favorite thing that Steve Orlando has ever written, which is, I've read a lot of what he's done. I super enjoyed this book. So the premise behind it is there is a rising MMA star. And this is not capes and tights. If you're not into superheroes and stuff, you might want to check this out. But a rising MMA star who is finally going to get his shot at the title. Like he's getting his belt shot. Finally, he's a hothead. He runs his mouth a lot, but he's ready to go. And he gets outed as gay right at the last minute. And so when that happens, immediately the entire system turns against him. Like all of his trainers split. They're not doing it. The MMA company tries to figure out the best way to handle the media pushback. Do they, some underhanded stuff happens. Anyway, this guy has to turn to the only person on the planet that will help him. But it's the last person that anybody would expect him to. And it's an old retired boxer who happens to be the same man that killed this kid's dad in the boxing ring 20 years before. So a lot of contention there, a lot of back and forth, an amazing sports story without ending the way it does not turn out the way that you would expect. There are lots of fun things happening in this book. It's just cool. If you like sports, if you like martial arts, if you're looking for just a good, compelling story, you need to hit up Kill a Man from Aftershock Comics. And shout out to Steve Orlando because, like, seriously, this was an amazingly good book. Bouncing over to a little company that you all know I love a lot, actually. There is a book, and this is and because I love using this word, the penultimate issue of the plot. It's the plot number 7. This has been a great horror story. It wraps around the idea that some family secrets don't die with the family, like the legacy of some of the horrible things our forefathers did follows us. It is written by Tim Daniel and Michael Morrissey, drawn by Josh Hickson. Kurt Michael Russell did the colors. Yeah, not that Kurt Russell, a different one. And lettered by Jim Campbell. Literally the physical manifestation of like this family's past takes the form of almost like a Swamp Thing, Man Thing type creature that like lives in the murk around this family mansion. I love this book. It's been one of my favorite horror stories of the entire year. And I cannot wait to see how it ends, but I'm also sad to see it end. Seriously, it's been amazing. And dude, Russell's colors in this book they're just stupid. Like they're so good.
What's the book?
The Plot.
The Plot. Okay.
The Plot number 7. The eighth issue.
So I almost gave you a hard time because you said it was plot number 7, and I thought, how many plots are in this book? So,
well, according to Shakespeare, ... No, you read, I think, the first issue of this, Craig. I want to say, I'm not sure if you both did.
I don't remember it, but I maybe did.
It's fun when the collection comes out. You should consider picking it up. It really is
okay.
a good book. It's a fun horror story. Vault is doing great work. I love seeing what those folks are putting out. And then last but not least, a little Big 2 action. I read the next issue of a series that we don't talk about it a lot. I talk about it sometimes, but it's not making big waves in the comics world. People aren't really paying attention to it, and I don't know why, because it is amazing. It's one of my favorite books at DC, but it's Wonder Woman number 767, and this is, written by a person that has impressed the hell out of me over the past couple of years, in the way that they've transitioned from talking about or from writing like graphic novels to writing superhero stories, and it was kind of a bumpy road to begin with, but they've really taken off. It's Mariko Tamaki who's writing Wonder Woman, and she's got a great voice for this character, and she's kind of dealing with the fact that number one, there's been some things about Maxwell Lord that have not been taken care of, or that seem to have been left in the ether after the last like reboots kind of happened. And anyway, Max Lord and Diana, who are, arguably mortal enemies, have had to cooperate with each other and team up. And she is joined in this book by Rafa Sandoval doing the pencils, Jordi Taroga on the inks, R.F. Piranto doing the colors, and Pat Brousseau on the cover. Seriously, really fun book. Surprisingly, I shouldn't say surprisingly, because Mariko's a good writer, but it's been she's jumped into this head first, like surprisingly good run. And it's kind of amazing to me how fast she got the hang of writing this character. Not that there isn't a lot of really good examples of Diana to figure out how to write her, but a lot of times folks really don't know the nuances. They don't know the voice, and Mariko has been very quick to put on those shoes. She writes a really good Wonder Woman.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but you better enjoy the next 2 issues.
I know. Yep. No, I'm aware.
770 is Becky Cloonan's taking over. So.
And I'm fine with that too. I love some Cloonan.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, this has been a fun run. And I'm curious to see if they put Mariko on a new book. See what's coming down the line after the endless winter 2-month break. So. Or if she'll come back to the character after then. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that this will be her last foray into what is DC's best character, in my humble opinion. But that's just me. So
that is an opinion.
You feel the shade on that, Matt?
And it is yours. So.
I own it. No, yeah. Dude, I love Wonder
Woman. No, Wonder Woman's a great character. I'm just being funny or trying to be.
Everybody's favorite DC character is Batman, right? I mean, so it's just Diana's my girl, but I'm also a George Perez fan, and that's probably why. So
yeah, I mean, fair
for me. Like a whole lot of roads lead back to.
She had big hair.
She did have big hair.
Yeah.
Lots of hair, giant, big 1980s hair, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Well, all right. If you want to see more of what we're reading as the week goes by, in and out, kind of semi non-spoilery takes like you just got with our short stacks, you know where you can find them. You can find them on the internets. If you head over to our Facebook group, we are the Southern Fried Geekery group on the Crack Book, as it is belovedly known. We're there most of the time talking about what we're reading, hitting it up. You can also check us out on the Twitter and the Instagram. We're at SFG Podcast on both of those things. If you are just curious about what our pull list look like, or you want to know our opinions on another book, or maybe you have a suggestion that you don't want to slide into our DMs or whatever, you can fire off an email at southernfriedgeekery@gmail.com. It's the best way to get a hold of us. We check it quite often. We may not check it as much as we need to, but at least it's being looked at. So all right, well, some big books came out this week, right? Like some, whether or not they, the subjective take on them, which we'll get to, is regardless, they did garner attention. They made waves, and one of those books is what we are going to talk about for our roundtable this week, and it is none other than The King in Black. This has been Donny Cates has been leading up to this moment for a good little bit. He and Ryan Stegman, who I think they started out together on Venom, have been working towards this goal. They have been in and out of all kinds of stories making this happen. It's inked by J.P. Mayer and colored by the great Frank Martin. And before we get into it, I am just curious, and I kind of already low-key know, but just real short, how did you guys feel about this?
I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, actually, and I am kind of on the side of I'm really kind of over events, but I enjoyed this issue, and I think it was just absolutely the complete lack of hopefulness at the end of this book that did it for me. I mean, obviously at some point they'll figure a way out of it, but right now it looks pretty hopeless.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a not bad moment.
Yeah.
I'm with Craig on this. I kind of liked it, and number one, it was pretty. It was fun to look at. Number two, it filled a hole in my little comics reading heart that I didn't know needed filled, and apparently it did. But and I think that had a lot to do with it. So let's kind of get into what the book is. So I'm like, full disclosure, I am not reading most of the things that Donny Cates has written that have led into this book, just because it's not in my, the pie chart of things that I'm interested in. Not for any like quality reasons. It's not been anything that has sucked me in. So there's probably a lot of stuff leading up to this that I've missed, and that for me did not affect my ability to read the book. There might have been some things that I was able to gloss over, that somebody else picked up on, but for me it didn't hurt. The story starts out with Eddie Brock, and he's up on the ledge. He's overlooking the city, and something's wrong. He can feel something encroaching, and it scares him shitless, which is never a good sign when you've got somebody who also lives their life as a symbiote anti-hero as Venom, and so he knows that this figure, this god, this the Lord and Savior of the symbiotes, is about to hit Earth with everything in his toolbox, and not only does he need to protect the world, he's got a personal stake in this. He's got a son, he wants to keep his son safe. And I've read enough to have seen the relationship between Eddie Brock and his son to realize that Donny Cates does this really great thing where he puts these really poignant father-son moments into a lot of these stories. Like, he has really fleshed out that relationship in a really, really compelling way. And it's been great to see, because he also doesn't skimp out on the violence. He is able to meld like the emotion and the relationship of his father-son into the really, punch, fight, bang, kapow stories that we want to see in our big two books. But because this is happening, he has to go get his kid, like, and basically put him in a bunker. Like he puts him in a safe house, because part of the reason, number one, he's got to keep his son safe, but he knows that one of the reasons Null is coming for him. Like he's got one of the symbiotes, and Null is the symbiote god, and he knows that just by the pure relationship, by the pure juxtaposition, his son is going to be in danger. So he puts him away. He puts him in a safe room, and then he goes to work, like gets on the phone, gets in touch with the Avengers, hollers at Cap, and sorry about all the jingling. My dog decided to join me. She's cute and fluffy on the floor. But the Avengers are also aware of what's happening. They're up in Avengers Mountain, which is the dead carcass of a Celestial, hanging out, and they're preparing, right? Like they are doing what they do best. They're the best offense is sometimes a good defense, and they have used the wreckage of the Kree Skrull ships that are littered around from the last event that happened, the Empire event, and Tony has essentially turned them into a wall of bombs around the Earth. Like they're going to use this to their advantage, and the idea is to kind of head off the threat before it hits. To catch Null and his army of weird space symbiote bat demons, and eliminate that threat before they enter the atmosphere. And look, Tony's a hothead, right? Like Tony is very sure of himself. He has no doubt in his mind that this works and that Cap is just being ridiculous, and in questioning him. And this is just a Tuesday for him, right? And as Null enters the atmosphere, it becomes very apparent, and very, very quickly, Tony realizes just how unprepared and inadequate this was. This is a literal horde of symbiote demons that is just about to lay waste to the planet, and the defense that he mounted. I mean, we're talking less than 2%, right? Like it's not. It's like you're trying to plug up a hole in a dam with a stick of bubble gum. It doesn't work, which is weird. It's a weird place for Tony to be in. Although, to be fair, he's been in this place a lot before. He should have learned by now, but he doesn't. And it really drives home how stark the situation that these folks are in. Pun intended with Tony Stark, because half of their bigs are off the board. I mean, Thor, if you're reading Thor right now, he's off the board. He's unavailable, which sucks, because one of the weaknesses that they know about Null, one of the things that they know that they can use to stop him is magic. It's magic and lightning. And I mean, who else besides one of the, by a literal god, the Allfather, who wields a whole lot of magic and a whole lot of lightning, is not available to help fight this thing. But they can't not be the Avengers, right? They can't not surmount a challenge, but they're not the only heroes on Earth. And so as these creatures start pelting the planet like literal symbiote rain from the sky, literally covering the Earth in, I guess, symbiote goo. I mean, I'm not sure how the symbiote works. I mean, if you kind of like a starfish, you cut off one and it just grows back. But literally, it's raining symbiote parts from the sky. And Cap does what Cap does best. He jumps into action, but right at that moment, the X-Men jump in, because this is their world too. They're not going to stand by, and they have a god of their own. Well, I should say a goddess, who also, quote unquote, also has a penchant for electricity. And Storm, which makes sense, but Storm is I guess the second biggest powerhouse, or should be, when it comes to the world superheroes using electricity. And so they're going to work to just stop this thing, but they've got an ace up their sleeve, right? Noah is not somebody to be fucked with. Like that becomes very clear very quickly. But they've always got a plan, right? Especially Cap. Like he is a leader, and as things look like they're about to just completely overwhelm the Earth. You know, because Null, he's his first enemy, you know, billions of years ago, were the Celestials. And Null has, you know, in his adventures, he's kind of taken over the Celestials, like at least some of them. He's wrapped them in these symbiotes, um, which means bad things for the planet, right? Except, like I said, Cap's got something. Um, and again, heavy spoilers in this, but he has kept the Sentry off the board and hiding. But at this, you know, what should be the final moment, Bob shows up and was just like, you know, here I am. Let me save the day. Uh, but things don't quite work out the way that they want it to. Bob, you know, the Sentry keeps something called the Void inside him, or at least he claims to. You know, that he's got a little bit of a mental issue, but part of what gives him the ability to be the Sentry is this bottling up of the Void. It's where some of his power comes from. Null has a connection to the Void. It turns out the Void, like we've always kind of questioned whether or not the Void was real or just a figment of his broken mind. Now the Void's real, and Null's got a connection to it. And in what is, in my opinion, and in a lot of the internet's opinion, the joke that this all has led up to, Null and Void, they clash in an incredible and really striking moment, just to really drive home how powerful Null is. Um, just to he just breaks him, like literally rips the Sentry in half. The Sentry in half. Just pieces of him fly everywhere. It's like my jaw dropped, because you don't think like this. Like Sentry is Superman, or at least is an equivalent of Superman in this world, and he is just discarded like a you know empty cheeseburger wrapper, just tossed to the side. Um, and so Cap and the heroes, the Avengers, the X-Men, they are just ready to go down fighting. But we got to jump back. Like who is this, and what is the reason he's here? It's Null. He's the god of the symbiotes, and this all focuses around Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock, in recent weeks or months, or you know before COVID, one of his bigger moments was this Ultimate Carnage storyline, where Carnage basically invented a way to control all of these other little Carnage symbiotes, and it was through this chair, this little bit of a throne, and they've kept that safe. They've kept that hidden. Eddie Brock is and Venom are going to go sit in that, and they're going to try to use that to try to tap into Null, try to break his hold over these symbiotes, and he does. But what this allows him to see is that all they're seeing is the surface level. There is so much more to Null and to his plan to conquer the Earth, and to literally wrap the world into a little ball, block out the sun, to take everything over with symbiotes. It's just more than they ever considered, and it's kind of like Craig said to begin with. It's hopeless, but because it's hopeless, he is going to try to go. Eddie Brock is going to try to go head it off. He's going to try to go make a deal to trade himself. Um, and in kind of the last few pages of the book, when Null finally gets his hand on him, you know, he gets him in his clutches, and you know that trade off is supposed to happen. As he's talking to Eddie, he makes it clear that there's been a misunderstanding. He's after Brock, but he's not after Eddie Brock. You know, he's after somebody else with great power, um, that nobody else knows about, or at least that nobody else thought of. Um, and he is going to take the Venom symbiote away from Eddie, and then he's going to go after the Brock that he wants, which is, of course, the kid, right? The who's locked away in a bunker. Um, things don't look good. Things don't look good at all uh, for the world. And again, so I'll let Matt kind of jump into this as we kind of start talking about what we liked, what we disliked, what worked, what didn't work. But you know, just through our little text message thread we have, you know, Matt, one of the things you said is just pure quote unquote event fatigue or invasion fatigue. So like I think that's a great place to start. So hit on that for a minute, brother.
I'm just personally burned out, and I have been for a long time, on the idea of a invading horde, and the whatever given team has to defend the earth from it. I don't know. That is personally for me, that is so played out. I could not be less interested in that. I mean, the book was great to look at. Ron Stegman's art's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the guy as an artist, and I can't knock the storytelling. It's just what the story is about is just, I'm so burned out on it. I just could not make myself care about anything that happened from page 1 to the end of this book. I'm just like, whatever. I'm just so unengaged simply from burnout. That's just a personal hang up.
Yeah. So,
Well, and we literally just ended an event last week in Marvel.
Yeah.
You know, so I can see how event fatigue is a player in this.
Well, specifically this type of event. This type of event has been replayed for decades. It's like, oh my God, another celestial, another cosmic invasion. Really? Christ.
which was literally
Christ.
that's what Empire was. That's what, if you are reading the Avengers right now, that's, they dealt with the Celestials coming down, like you said. There's just it's and now they're dealing with the Phoenix. So it really is it's something that I think they need to put on the bench for a little bit. let it breathe.
Yeah, I would love it if they would, but I know they won't.
Now, all that being said, and most, like 99% of the time, I'm right there with you. I really enjoyed this book because it's a really well written example of that trope. Like it does a really good job of balancing the street level with the cosmic threat, which is, I think, something that you need to have a good grasp on in this type of story if you're going to tell a good version of this type of story, which I think this is. But I think another reason that I liked this book, again, not having any of the baggage that comes with the previous Venom story, loosely knowing what Cates has got going on, which, like I said, very loosely connected to Thor, to the work he's doing over there. But this felt like the Avengers book that I've been missing. Like no disrespect to the man, but I have not liked most of Jason Aaron's Avengers run. There's been some good moments of it. There's been some, like, conceptually, I think there's some great parts, but it's not felt like an Avengers book. It's not felt like it should be the flagship of the Marvel universe. It's not felt like it's got the weight that those characters should come with. It's been largely kind of flaccid storytelling. And other than a few key moments, I've just, I'm only hanging on because I'm an Avengers mark, because I'm always going to get the Avengers, right? Maybe for better or worse. Donny Cates writes the Avengers in here in a way that, like, that makes me believe that they're the Avengers. Like and to be fair, he also does the X-Men really well, which he doesn't really get into a lot of the X-Men's personas. They're just kind of there and fighting, but like, he's got a good grasp over how the world should feel in relation to these characters. Like, he writes Cap really, really well. He writes Cap being a leader really well. He understands the dynamics of that team's position in this earth, in the stakes that are there. And I think for me, part of why I read this and it kind of felt like a fresh of breath air is because I've been lamenting the fact that the Avengers book doesn't feel like the Avengers. Like, it doesn't feel like Aaron is not doing it. Like, he's not doing the work that he needs to be doing, which is insane because he's Jason frickin' Aaron. I mean, very few people write Thor as well as he does, and very few people have the curriculum vitae in their history to tell you that they should be able to write an amazing book. Like, when they first announced that he was on the Avengers, I was just like, oh, okay, this is the next epic run. Obviously, this is the next epic run because it's Jason Aaron, and it just hasn't been. This felt like it should be that. Like, this should be an Avengers event. But maybe that's what makes it work, is that it's not an Avengers event. It's actually like a Venom event. And for the most part, it's contained in this smaller pocket of the larger universe. I don't know.
So first of all, I'm going to say my phone keeps cutting out for like probably 30, 45 seconds at a time. So if I repeat anything that's been said, I'm sorry. Um, I think what worked for me is the fact that, and I know you hit on this, is the storytelling. If you're going to do a story that's been done before, you better do it really, really well. And that was the case in this scenario. And say, and it better be drawn pretty. And it was. So it did the two things it needed to grab me and kind of hook me. Now, am I going to buy every tie-in to this? No, I'm not. But I will buy the main books.
Yeah. Are they doing that thing where they put in a epic shit ton of, because I haven't looked, honestly.
Pretty much every book in Marvel for the next 2 months is going to be tied in.
See, this is where I'm at with that. I don't even look at the Marvel's previews anymore.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't, which is crazy because you guys know how I scour over the main book. I don't open the Marvel's previews because it's all event after event after event. If something is coming out that is going to rock the comics zeitgeist, I'm gonna hear about it through somebody talking about it on our Facebook group, or somebody in the EOC page talking about it, or you guys saying, "Hey, this cool thing is happening." I don't even bother.
Well, this feels like kind of the early 2000s, like Civil War, where everything was tying into the event.
Right.
So, that's what it appears like in the previews. So I'm not going to buy any book I wouldn't normally be buying to get this story. I'm just going to buy the ones I've been getting.
I mean, I will if it's a character that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Just to see what they do with that character. I mean, so like, there's a Namor book. I think that as I was looking at books that are coming out next week, there's a Namor book that's loosely related to it. I have no idea if it's how tightly wound up it's going to be, but it's Namor. If there's an Immortal Hulk tie-in, I'm going to pick up the Immortal Hulk tie-in.
Well, I think it's going to be in the Immortal Hulk title if there is a tie-in.
Right.
So you're not going to have to pick up something different than you're already getting to get those books, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, they're not doing, like, as far as I know, they're not doing miniseries like Frontlines or something like that, which this would be a perfect time to give us a Frontlines miniseries, which is the one miniseries that I always enjoyed in the events, but we never get anymore, But they're not doing those kinds of, as far as I'm aware, they're not doing those kinds of mini stories,
Well, that's good. I mean, if they're just doing one shots, I mean, that's just the one thing that gets, on one hand, it gets so overwhelming. On the other hand, nobody is pointing a gun to your head saying you have to read these books. So I really don't understand the people doing like the massive freak out about it. Cause I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
As per always, buy the books you want to buy and read the books you want to read.
Yeah, for sure.
Unless you're on a podcast and you're forced to read it so that you can talk about it.
Exactly.
Sacrifices were made. But I think one of the things that makes this story work also is that, like I said, it's the juxtaposition of down to earth elements with these giant like world breaking things. And by and large, this has all the feelings of a father son story. And I think for me that taps into something beyond the fact that it's, that it is a worldwide event. And shout out to Stegman for, like, if you're flipping through this book and you're looking in the backgrounds of all of these different pictures, like, he gives you little glimpses of all the world's heroes, or a lot of them, not all of them, because there's only so many pages, but you see Iron Fist working in the background. You see a whole lot of the X-Men out there fighting, even if they don't get any, like, quote unquote airtime. Luke Cage is a big part of this book in the background, but again, not saying any words. And so it's neat to see the kind of the mechanics of the Marvel world at play, and that's something in event books that I genuinely do enjoy. Like I enjoy the big splash pages where you see all of the heroes, whether or not they take front and center on stage, you see them there, and you know, and you can kind of spend some time with it, go through and spot them. Like there's one panel in this book that I was looking at, and I was trying to figure out who everybody is, and there's a character using some electricity, and I think it's Namor, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys have your books in front of you. Maybe y'all can tell me. But like he's got this weird like neck collar V thing, but I don't know. I can't tell who it is. I enjoy trying to go through and find out who some of these folks are.
I don't have my book in front of me, but if you tell me which page and panel,
I'm
kidding.
I can. I'll send you a screenshot on our little
Gotcha.
chat. But I also, this is also a setup book for the larger world. I think that this is going to give us a new way to look at Eddie Brock's son. I have no idea who this kid is. I have
he was in the Venom book, and I only read like the first, I don't know, 9 or so issues of Venom, and I dropped off not because it wasn't good, but just because it's not a character I really care about.
Right.
But he is Eddie Brock's illegitimate son that Eddie Brock's father was raising as his own. Well, Eddie Brock's father is an abusive bastard, so Eddie ended up getting his kid and is now taking care of him.
So the best I could, surmise from this book is, and they didn't show any of it, but apparently the kid has somehow genetically or otherwise absorbed or adopted or been passed on some of the Venom powers.
I believe during the Carnage books,
Mm-hmm.
that I believe he was actually, I'm going to say infected with a symbiote, but he was actually attached to a symbiote. And I think at that point, some of his powers materialized. But yes, through genetics, I believe there's some hidden powers where he may have some control over the symbiotes, and I think that's why Noel is wanting him pretty bad.
So I'm a big fan of the concept of legacy characters. Like, and I know a lot of people don't like those, and each person has their own reasons for liking or disliking something. I think legacy characters are great. I love the Young Avengers. I love the Champions. I love seeing how these things push the world forward. I'm kind of hoping this sets up, by the end of it, it sets up the kid to be a sort of legacy character for the idea of the symbiote, for the Venom idea. And not that they're, to be fair, the symbiote's kind of built in that way because it can jump from person to person. But as you're reading this book, you kind of get the feel that specifically the Venom symbiote and Eddie Brock have more than just a relationship in the sense of, oh, I'm wearing you as a suit. Like they're talking to each other. There's a legitimate love there, and I have, there's this one moment in the book where Eddie, the Venom is like, it was always us, and I just needed you to know, and there's this Han Solo moment where Eddie Brock is just like, I know. And it's like they're telling each other they love each other, like they work together. And that was kind of weird to see. I have no idea the dynamics of those relationships, but that's a cool way to think about the Venom suit, right? But it would be cool to see them set this kid up as his own person and to do something else. Like, can you imagine how big of a mark that is for Donny Cates if that's part of the legacy that he leaves, a new threshold character in the Marvel universe? Like, a lot of people try that and it doesn't always work. I mean, most recently, I think probably Miles Morales and Kamala Khan are the two biggest names, but to see that, like to leave a mark in the lines of the way that Bendis did on the Marvel universe, or, that would be incredibly good for him and just incredibly cool for the universe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's headed that way. I think that's kind of been the plan. Eddie, it's not like you're replacing, Hulk. You're not replacing Bruce Banner.
Right.
You're not replacing Thor Odinson as Thor. You're replacing Eddie Brock. So is it going to be more receptive by the comic community? I think it probably would be. I do
I
have a
could not
question.
disagree more. I think the Venom fans are going to go nuts if that were to happen.
The Venom fans went nuts when Kate started this because it's not Flash Thompson.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, but that's the thing is you have Flash Thompson fans, you have Eddie Brock fans, because you had the other part of that were thrilled because it was Eddie Brock.
Yeah. So speaking of which, where the fuck is Flash Thompson?
I bet Jerry.
Yeah.
No one knows. He hasn't been in a book in forever.
Jerry's got it written down on a notepad somewhere. Jerry knows. If there's one person, who has a lock on him, it's going to be Jerry Smith.
So yeah, I mean, maybe Matt's right, maybe he's not. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out.
On those lines, though, either way, no matter the way it's received, I genuinely hope and I truly believe that writers shouldn't care.
I think you should tell the story you want to tell, and then let people decide whether they're receptive to it or not.
Yeah.
And then, it's comic books. The playground can always be reset.
Right.
So, you tell the story you want to tell regardless. And, it's like musicians. You don't write music for the fans. You write the music that you are going to write, and your fans will either like it or not.
Problem is with legacy characters, you don't have that ability so often because editorial's like, nope, sorry, can't do that with that character.
Yeah,
right.
Well, in fairness, Miles Morales was able to happen because it happened in an alternate universe, and then they brought him over to the main universe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how things like that generally play out. Kind of like Nick Fury. We now have the new Nick Fury, kind of the same way. So
Nick Fury Jr.
Yeah, but we all know it's Ultimate Nick Fury.
Yeah. Well, and that is interesting. I mean, that's a way to look at how to break these new characters in, or bring them into the universe. But I mean, it's always been a thing, right? Like legacy characters, mantle characters, whether you're talking about Superboy, Supergirl, that they've always been
those. Yeah, but they generally are more received better or work better in team books rather than their own books.
I also think the fact that the advent of the internet lets anybody be an asshole anywhere brings a lot more of this stuff to light. I don't know if it was there before and just ignored. People, they didn't publish the stupid fanboy letters. Oh, you're giving my favorite person, boobs now or whatever. Like, I think they were able to ignore that those folks existed outside of the comic book shops, whereas now we see it more, and I think maybe we think it's more prevalent, or maybe it is more prevalent. I don't know. I just at the end of the day, like the company owns these characters. The company owns the copyrights and the symbols, and they own the trademarks. They own the visage, and if they greenlight something and I don't want to see it, I don't have to buy the book. If they greenlight it and I think it's a cool concept, I can check the book out. But I genuinely, either way, I don't think that writers, if they can, like Matt said, if they can get it past editorial, I don't think that should they consider what's best for the character? Yes. Do they have to consider what's going to, to sell? I mean, if they want to keep their job, sure. Like they're in a corporate business. They're writing for a corporate entity. So they have
that's why they have to run it by editorial.
Right. Like they have to keep that in mind. But if you think it's a good concept, if you think it's a cool story, genuinely, I truly don't believe that they should put a heavy emphasis on the fact that it might piss somebody off on the internet. Like somebody's going to have hard fees about this. Like just tell the good story, and either it'll get supported or it won't. And sometimes these things aren't beloved when they come out. 5 years later, they are a phenomenal thing. Like they're a phenomenon.
To go back to Miles Morales, he wasn't immediately well loved, but he's grown, and now people do love that character.
Yeah. Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
That's another good example. Half the X-Men.
Not so. Kamala Khan's not so much a legacy character though, because even though she took on the name of Miss Marvel, it was an entirely new power set and character.
Yeah. She's okay, but okay. So Captain Marvel though is, that was Marvel.
Yes.
That's kind of the greatest example of that. And I, other than that brief stint in Civil War II, I love Carol Danvers. I hated her then, but
I've always liked Carol Danvers as a character, and I loved when they made her Captain Marvel. And again, you had people that pitched a fit over that.
Yeah.
Over a character that hasn't been around for 20 years now or longer.
And again, I think, look, comment sections on the internet, like I just try to ignore them. Like, it is what it is. At some point, the functioning adults have to ignore the non-functioning adults.
The functioning adults.
Yeah. Good luck finding one of those.
Yeah.
Hey, 2.5 of them right here.
What? Yeah, we may be, self-medicated to be functioning.
None of us is 100%, but you add us all three together, we're at least 2.5 functioning. Kind of the last thing about this book, and I just wanted to mention it, when it comes to, and I feel like, I don't know for a fact, but I feel like Matt will nod his head at this. When it comes to like fantasy books, I'm a sucker for like a map in the beginning of the book, or like a timeline that kind of tells you the history of the world. It shows you the place. I mean, I like Tolkien-esque kind of things. And if at the back of this book you get, I don't necessarily know if you can call it a timeline, but you get a context tree. I'm going to trademark that. It's a context tree of who some of the people in this world are. And you get a timeline. You do get an actual timeline of like Null and his influence on the world, which some of it's retroactive because it's a new character, but I love that they put this in here, because as somebody who has not read a whole lot of what Donny Cates has done with the Venom character, and who does not otherwise give two simple shits about Null, it was cool to be able to look at this and see this context tree, and to at least get a better grasp of what this character is and what's happening and what's built up to this moment.
Well, you better give a shit over who Noel is, because he is going to be king of the planet.
Nah.
King of the planet.
We're punk rock. We'll rebel. So anyway, I thought the tree was cool, and again, that's partially because I'm a sucker for that like trope of fantasy literature. Made me happy.
There you go.
And at the end of the day, that's all I want for us, is to be happy.
At the end of the day, that's all we should be. It's what comics should do for us.
But we can't say enough good things about Stegman's art, though, right?
Venom Boy, yeah.
Oh, Matt, how'd that double page X-Men spread treat you?
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, the double page spread of the Venom on like the second page was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Stegman's art's freaking phenomenal. And personally, I like the guy, from what I can tell on a personal level on Twitter. The guy continues to make me laugh out loud.
Oh, he's funny as shit.
He's hilarious. I mean, he'll make me laugh out loud with a 4-word sentence. So by all appearances, he's a really talented, funny person. I just, I think what definitely doesn't help is I am completely symbiote neutral. I have no feelings whatsoever about the symbiotes, and that whole kind of, I tried the new Venom series when it came out. I stayed on for quite a while. I think I dropped it right at the appearance of Null. I was like, okay, space monster. Well, that puts a cork in it. So I was like, but I tried. I did.
Yeah.
I like the concept of being symbiote neutral.
He does not need a vaccine for symbiotes. He's neutral to them.
Yeah. I was now to be clear, when Venom first appeared in the main Amazing Spider-Man title, I loved Venom. I was like, oh, this is great. I loved Venom as a obsessive villain. I couldn't get enough of it. But I mean, and it's another thing that just really sours me on the characters, how they've turned him into essentially a good guy. I mean, now he's teaming up with Captain America. I'm like,
He's an anti-hero. Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't with that. Anytime you take a villain and turn him quote unquote good, or however you want to spin, that immediately takes the air out of it from me.
So you didn't like Sabretooth as a good guy?
When did that happen?
For about 3 years.
Oh man, I didn't read that, so I couldn't speak to it.
Happened after I'm going back in my nerd brain. The X-Men Avengers Axis storyline.
Yeah,
I want to say.
I mean, that's a character that people have fucked up. I mean, who's somebody? And I tell you, anytime somebody does this, I'm just like, you need to be fired. Every time somebody has, first, Sabretooth being a good guy is asinine. Second of all, when they have Wolverine and Sabretooth team up, it's like you have absolutely no idea about who these characters are.
They did it while Wolverine was dead to give us a Wolverine figure is essentially what they did.
Yeah. I mean, two bad decisions don't make a good one, Marvel.
I didn't like that storyline, but the kind of the groundwork behind it, the framework behind it, I should say, is something happened, and like it was one of those storylines where the good guys become bad guys and the bad guys become good guys, and like Havoc turned into a evil maniacal piece of shit, and Sabretooth was all of a sudden had a conscience. He wasn't like, he was still Sabretooth, but he was just like,
he was very much an anti-hero.
Yeah, he had he felt bad, like he felt guilt, which was weird to see. Again,
oh, that's stupid.
I didn't.
He felt like he should hold up to the Wolverine's principles.
Holy shit! Yeah. Just when I thought it couldn't get any dumber. Oh my god!
It was not. The one good thing that came out of that was, and I think Cullen Bunn is the one who did this, is that him and Monet kind of had this weird, like they were fucking on the side. And there was this weird relationship between Sabretooth and Monet, both of those characters, which are, well, I shouldn't say both. I don't know. Sometimes when he's written, like Sabretooth can be written as a weird narcissist. So can Monet. And watching those two characters be written that way together while they were, knocking boots in the background was funny as shit. And I wish that they would do something because we never got any closure to that. Like, again, once the story went away and the flip, I forget how they solved that problem, but they
solved it with Hickman taking over.
Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, he reset I don't think they had reset it until Hickman reset everything.
No, they did, because there was this where,
okay.
Like I said, Havoc became a good guy again. Something with Scott, there was crying involved, and Sabretooth.
It's the Summers boys, of course, there was crying.
Right, yeah. Sabretooth, murdered a flock of children on a field trip or something. I don't know.
Flock of children.
He went back to being the Sabretooth that we all know and love. So I remember they solved it, but I just want some I'm cool with the Monet Sabretooth relationship, because Monet's one of my favorite characters in that whole of the X-Men. I love Monet.
So Matt, just on that same lines, how do you feel about Magneto being a good guy?
Well, Magneto's a different kind of character. Magneto's motivations are different than someone like Sabretooth's motivations.
For sure.
Yeah. So there are, that's a totally different, and that's not a bad question, but it's a totally different situation when you've got someone like Magneto's and their motivations are consistent, but their actions could be viewed as, quote, good, question mark.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sabretooth, no.
He's a Machiavellian character. Like the ends will justify the means. For Magneto.
Well, the current storyline I don't think could be a better example of that. I mean, his motivation is consistent with what his character has essentially always been.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just the situation has changed.
Yeah. Charles is the one that's changed.
Little bit.
He's no longer trying to save humanity from itself. Like, he's now looking out, like he's putting the mutants first in a way that he never has before. Am I okay? Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah.
I mean, he did
So-
the whole they can't kill humans thing. So there's that.
So to bring this back around to what we were talking about, Matt, do you know the story on how Venom became a good guy?
No, since I unplugged from Venom, yeah, I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, so basically, the Venom that had been on Earth had been separated from the Venom hive mind for so long that it had gone insane. So they were given new Venom suits, and the other Venom was replugged back into the hive mind back on their home world. So the suits they have now are not the same, or the symbiotes that they have now are not the same symbiotes they originally had.
Not your daddy's symbiote. Got it.
Yep. So that, I mean, there at least was a decent story on how they did it. So I'll give them that, or a decent take on how they did it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like all of a sudden they just woke up and decided to be good guys.
Yeah.
So
Cates is creative as hell. I would love it if Cates took over the Avengers line. Like I feel like he writes teams really well. He writes really well.
I think you're seeing a couple of guys that have, in the past couple of years have just got their real feet put down in Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Cates, Zdarsky, and Ewing. And I think those three are going to be the ones really going for a while.
I would throw Teenie Howard in that list.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gotten the big book quite yet, but I think she's equally as capable. I would like to see her do more of a forefront. But yeah, no, I don't disagree. I think that those are now they have a finger on the pulse of what makes Marvel fun right now. Not what made Marvel fun 20 years ago, 30 years ago,
And they seemingly can do it without destroying the histories of the characters.
Well, but they're also not so totally dependent on it. So they can do this neat thing where they hold on to continuity, but they're able to mold it and they're able to tell new stories. I mean, like, look what he's doing with Null. I mean, this is a good example. I don't care about it, but it's a good example. Like, he's created this whole extingent circumstance under which this character has a broad history that's fit into every aspect of the Marvel universe as we know it. It doesn't change anything, but it's always been there according to him now. Like, that's neat. That's a cool way to do things without being like you're honoring it, but you're not a slave to it.
But see, the whole idea of a symbiote planet came from Bendis's run. I think it was Bendis on Guardians, where they went and found the home world of the symbiotes, and Venom became a good guy.
Yeah, that was when he had the young X-Men.
Yeah,
they were out doing that. I think it's great, dude. He's such a good writer. Like, he is such a strong, vibrant talent, and I really hope that they.
So to me, what these young good writers do is they pull from what has already been out there, and they make their own fresh story from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what these guys are doing. I mean, Ewing's done that, marvelously with Immortal Hulk, pulling from all the different histories of Hulk. And you're seeing that in Daredevil, and you're seeing it with Donny Cates' stuff in Venom.
Also, the artists that they get paired with. I mean, like that. Like, you can't. It's not just the writers. I mean, like Joe Bennett, Stegman,
and Chichetto.
But and those are just the kind of the flagship ones. But there's a ton of them. Pepe Larraz that's done a lot of the X-Men stuff right now. And did the Avengers No Road Home stuff. Like, they've got a good little stable of artists that are producing fresh and vibrant work. And I don't know, like, people who there's some good books coming out in this corner, and that's coming from somebody who has above and beyond kind of been waning from superhero comics. They look at what Cates is doing over in Thor. Look at the art on that book. Like, it's a good time to be a fan of comic art. It's a bad time for your wallet if you're a fan of buying comic art, but it's a good time to be a fan. Going back to what you were talking about just a minute ago with the changes with Axis and the changes with, like, the symbiotes. it's weird because we've gotten into a kind of this section of the show where we're talking about how the world has changed, and it's been funny because we've had these kind of little trivia moments where we bring up stuff that is maybe no longer important or no longer has, but they definitely took effect in the Marvel universe. Which reminds me, Craig, that not too long ago you had either been gifted or given a Marvel trivia box set. Am I correct?
I have, and I'm trying to see the date on it, but I actually don't see the date. So you guys are just going to have to answer these questions based on whatever date it was made. And, you know, we can discuss whether they're still correct or not.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
That's
what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to randomly pick out questions. I just randomly pull cards out, and I'm going to ask the question, and we'll go back and forth, Matt to Caleb, and then Caleb to Matt. And, whoever gets the most correct answers wins the prize of being the best at Marvel trivia.
It's a very specific product.
You ready for this?
Is this going to be one of those situations to where, like, kind of like a Chewbacca situation, to where if I don't let Matt win, he rips my arms out of my sockets?
Chewbacca situation.
So my phone did that stupid thing where it cut out. So I'm assuming you guys said you were ready.
Yeah, good enough.
Okay. We'll start with Matt. Who was the colorful leader of the planet Sakaar that Hulk led a successful revolt against?
No idea and didn't read that.
Caleb, do you know the answer?
It was in Greg Pak's Hulk, Planet Hulk. Oh, and I can't.
That wasn't the question.
I know. I can't think of his name.
The name.
He was the Green King, or the.
I'll give you credit for knowing he was a king, and it was a color. It's the Red King.
The Red King. Okay.
Okay. Next question, true or false? Marvel's first Ghost Rider series was about an Old West cowboy hero. Caleb?
False.
That is wrong. That is true, actually.
Does it give you the information on that?
No, it just says true.
How?
So we're not going to argue with the answers, are we?
Only if it's been updated since then, but something like that's an old one. We'll have to do some research on that and find out how.
That has to have been in like the Marvel Western tales from way back.
Maybe.
Pre-code stuff.
Okay, Matt. What is the name of the blind clairvoyant woman that occasionally aids Spider-Man with hints about future events?
No idea.
Caleb?
God, this we might not need to play this. I can see her in my mind. She'd be like Grandmother Arachnid or some shit.
Madam Web is the answer.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
I'm going to stay away from true or false questions because then I don't get to ask both of you. Caleb, the Maestro is a villainous future version of what Marvel superhero? If you don't get this, Matt's going to drive to your house and punch you in the balls.
God damn it.
Let me crack my knuckles real quick. It is a future version of the Hulk, but now we know that it's a future version of the Hulk that stole the mantle from a future version of Hercules.
Okay. I quit reading it, so I'm glad for that information.
Secrets.
Okay, Matt. Crusher Krill constantly battles Marvel's heroes as what supervillain?
The Absorbing Man.
Yay.
Applause.
I'm really
tied 1-1.
Really need my cheer section to be a bit more enthusiastic.
Caleb, here's another softball for you because we just fucking talked about it. Who becomes the government operative known as Agent Venom?
Shit, what's his name? It's not Brock. No, it's not Brock. It's I'm terrible with names. Flash Thompson.
Okay, I was gonna say, man, I just talked about him 4 times. Let's see. Next question. After his death, who revives Punisher and turns him into a Frankenstein-like monster? Matt.
Oh, you did this on purpose. God damn it. I don't know.
randomly picked that.
I avoided that story with very specific intent. I really don't want to know the answer to this question. I just had a principle. You're a jerk.
Caleb, do you know the answer to who created Frankencastle?
I mean, the answer is Rick Remender, I think.
It was Morbius. Okay, Caleb, what was the name of the group that decided to banish Hulk to outer space because of his danger to the planet?
The Illuminati.
Matt, you better get the next answer. Keep pace. The Asgardian Lorelei is the sister of what villain? The big hint there is Asgardian.
Yeah. That is Loki, isn't it?
No, it's the Enchantress.
No. Yeah. Never heard
Which
of her.
was, of course, changed for the movie. Okay, Caleb, what is the name of the serum Tony Stark takes to improve his abilities and the power of his armor?
The answer to that is Iron Man 3.
That is not the answer. Matt, do you know that answer?
The serum that he takes to improve his armor.
Yes.
Gatorade.
Extremis is the answer.
Like I said, Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I mean, it was in Iron Man 3.
That was the Warren Ellis story, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was.
I don't remember them. Yeah, I read that, but it's been so long. I do not remember him drinking something to improve his armor.
Matt, here is a softball question for you. Throughout much of the 1970s, Captain America shared top billing in his comic series with what other superhero?
The Falcon.
Yeah. I want it to be close.
Lackluster as it is, at least he's cheering for you, Matt. I have not cheering yet.
So now let me retort that, friend. Fake enthusiasm is worse than no enthusiasm.
Okay, I'm going to read both questions on this card because they are both softball questions. So starting with Caleb, what is the secret identity of the hero known as Iron Fist?
Danny Rand.
Matt, what type of radiation led to the creation of the Hulk?
That would be gamma radiation.
They were both way too easy on that one.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, Matt, we're good at this game.
Oh man. Telling you.
Okay, Caleb goes first on this one. What was the name of the supernatural team of heroes formed by Ghost Rider to battle threats like Lilith, Mother of Demons? I believe Matt knows this one, so if you don't, I believe Matt's going to get it.
I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Matt?
I'm actually drawing a blank on this one too.
Oh, okay. Midnight Suns.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
See, I
Yeah,
didn't. I remember the
know that.
Midnight Suns run. I forgot that was actually what they were called.
Matt, for a tie, what Marvel superhero uses the Sanctum Sanctorum as his base of operations?
That would be Doctor Strange.
Okay,
Wong.
we are.
It's Wong. It's Wong. Wong is the answer. Wong is the answer. Wong is the only acceptable answer.
Caleb, for the lead, what government agent slows his aging process by taking the Infinity Formula?
Nick Fury?
Yes.
Hey, I didn't know that one.
Matt, Mark Spector fights crime in the Marvel Universe as what superhero?
That would be the Moon Knight.
Yes.
Respect.
Caleb, what is the first human alter ego of the thunder god Thor?
Oh, God.
Jesus freaking Christ. Why did my brain just shut off?
Oh, this is excellent.
Dr. Donald Blake.
I heard the Google in the background. No, I'm
I
playing.
know. No, sir, you didn't.
Matt, what hero derives his power from being bonded with the mystical demon known as Zarathos?
Oh,
And I feel like
shit.
this one has probably been retconned.
Yeah. Is that Hellstrom?
Ghost Rider.
I was gonna. Damn it!
Sorry, I should have let you answer that one.
I knew that one.
Yeah, it was. And I guess they retconned it because I feel like it's Mephisto now, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not Mephisto, but I think they have retconned it. Yeah. But did you know he led this team called the Midnight Suns?
I did. Caleb, from what country is Captain America's archenemy, the Red Skull, from?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Germany.
That is true. I said I wasn't going to do true or false, but I'm just going to ask this. And Matt, you still get the first question next. But Marvel Comics was first called Timely Publications. True or false?
True.
No point for that one because I said I wasn't going to do true or false.
But it is true.
It is true. You are correct.
So I get half a point.
Half point. Okay, Matt, which of the following Marvel heroes is a lawyer when not acting as a costumed Avenger? Is it Power Man, Iron Fist, or Daredevil?
That would be Mr. Daredevil.
Mr. Daredevil is correct.
Esquire. Mr. Daredevil Esquire.
Yeah.
Caleb, when Bucky Barnes acts as Captain America after the death of Steve Rogers, and I love that death is in quotation marks, what SHIELD agent briefly serves as his partner?
Agent 13?
No. Matt, do you know the answer?
Is it Maria Hill?
No, it was Black Widow.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Matt, who led the Thunderbolts team that the Punisher joined? This is a fairly new one. I want to say 2012-ish run of Thunderbolts.
Damn it. Shit. I'm spacing. I'm totally spacing. So I'm just going to say Norman Osborn.
No. Caleb, do you know?
Red Hulk.
You are correct.
Yep.
Did you guys read that run? It was really good.
I did, and it's one of like 3 comic book related posters that I own. The cover to one of those series.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't read books where the Punisher's on a team.
He was knocking boots with Elektra.
Yeah, it was a good book. Okay, so Caleb, I think you're first this time. Eric Brooks is better known as what superhero?
Oof. Eric Brooks. I don't know the answer to this question.
I don't know this one.
If I put it in this term, you probably would. Eric Brooks, part vampire, is better known as the superhero. As what superhero?
Morbius?
No. Matt?
Oh, shit. Fuck it. I know who it is.
Part vampire. I got nothing.
Blade.
It is Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duh.
I should have got that. You threw me off with Brooks. Eric.
Who went first that time?
Matt. No, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Was
Matt.
it you? Okay.
No, it was me. It was me. So it's Matt's turn.
Okay. The industrialist Justin Hammer is a business rival to what Marvel character?
Tony Stark.
It is tied at 8.
That's from his favorite Iron Man movie.
It is. I also
Caleb.
have a poster on my wall.
That's hilarious. Who initially trains Jessica Drew to be a secret agent?
The go-to answer again would be Nick Fury, but I don't think that. No. It's Hydra. Hydra.
You are correct. It is Hydra.
I always forget that's where she came from.
Matt, after proving worthy to possess Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, what was the name of the hammer given to Beta Ray Bill?
Stormbreaker.
It is tied at 9.
Oh, shit.
Caleb, what was the name of the World War II superhero team featuring Captain America, Namor, and the Human Torch?
It is the Invaders.
That is correct.
Also, Bucky was a part of that team for a hot minute.
Matt, what hero uses the penance stare power to make villains feel every pain they've inflicted upon others?
That would be the Ghost Rider.
Who gets his power from what demon?
That one you said.
Okay, we are tied at 10. Shall we keep going?
Also, Matt's favorite Nick Cage movie.
Is there such thing as a favorite Nick Cage movie?
Oh, you do not besmirch the name of Nick Cage, sir.
You guys want to play to what, 15?
Yeah, let's keep going. This is fun.
Okay. Caleb, what Shield member is known for wearing a bowler hat?
Dum Dum Dugan.
Correct, sir.
Bam. Come at me, bruh.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Matt, what is the name of Shauna the She-Devil's husband?
I'm going to say Hellstrom again.
No. Caleb, do you know the answer?
Yes, Jason Wood is the answer.
Again, no. Kazar. Caleb, what name is used by Shield's supernatural unit, an elite World War II squad, and Nick Fury's response team to the Skrull invasion?
Squadron Supreme?
No. Matt, do you know the answer?
Read that again, please.
What name is used by Shield's supernatural unit, an elite World War II squad, and Nick Fury's response team to the Skrull invasion?
Is it the Howling Commandos?
It is.
Oh, yep. Because that had Werewolf by Night on it, didn't it?
Yeah, I believe they did at one point in time. Who's Matt? You're first this time.
Mm-hmm.
Malekith is the leader of what race of beings?
Oh, God damn it. Oh, God. I'm going to miss this one, and
Yes,
it's going
you
to
are.
piss me off.
I'm going to sit here and talk about my nails.
Oh, God damn it. I'm going to have to just, I'm spaced. I'm
Get a
spaced.
pass? Okay.
I'm spaced.
Caleb?
Dark Elves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aha!
Caleb, when Tony Stark's business rival, Obadiah Stane, builds his own armor, by what name does he go?
He is the Warmonger.
No.
No. Oh, shit. Really?
Matt. Well, I'm not lying.
Not lying.
I want to recount.
Yeah, this one I don't know.
Ironmonger.
Okay, Warmonger's better.
Matt. Doctor Strange cloak gives the wearer what ability?
Doctor Strange cloak. Yeah, I'm spacing on this one too.
Caleb?
The ability to fly or levitation?
Levitation is correct.
Yeah.
Caleb, a man that has been both a hero and a villain, Flint Marko, is better known by what name?
Let's see. This is a Spider-Man character. Juggernaut?
No.
I don't know why I said it was a Spider-Man character and then said Juggernaut.
I was wondering the same thing. Matt.
Oh man. No, you're the Kane Marko.
Kane Marko is
Juggernaut.
Yeah, that's why.
Is it Sandman?
It is Sandman.
Yeah, that's it. See, it was a Spider-Man character.
You flake out on levitation.
I know, right? And I know who Flint Marko is.
Okay. Matt, who led the Secret Warriors team into a battle against the Skrull invasion?
Who led the Secret Warriors team?
I have a feeling Caleb knows this one if you don't.
Black Widow.
No. Caleb?
I read that book. It's a Hickman book. Is it?
Again, not the question.
I know. I'm thinking through my process, Craig. Jesus.
Oh,
Is it
God.
Maria Hill?
No, it was Nick Fury himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, Caleb.
It was an LMD, first of all.
Yggdrasil, an important part of the Asgardian life, is also known as the world blank.
It's Yggdrasil, the world tree.
Okay. There's 2 G's in there, but it's Norse, so we'll go with whatever it sounds like.
fucking Einar Jar with their weird pronunciation.
Matt, what supervillain created the clone of Spider-Man?
Doc Ock.
No.
Damn.
Caleb? This is a tough one, to be honest.
Yeah, because it's not any of. I don't think it's any of his bigs. I don't know. Like I want to say Norman Osborn, but I don't think that's correct.
It is the Jackal.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Caleb for 15 points. Dr. Michael Morbius transforms into what kind of supernatural creature?
Oh, God.
This one's too easy. Oh, it's not fair. But I'm going to take it. I love to win. It is the living vampire.
Well, I pulled 2 off of that because it was what is the name of the Hulk's allies when he launches his attack on Earth during World War Hulk? Matt?
What is the name of Hulk's allies? I mean, I don't know. I didn't read
Caleb,
that.
do you know?
No, I didn't read that.
The Warbound is correct. And then I pulled off this one because we just talked about it. What is the name of the malefic force that occasionally possesses the Sentry? Either of you.
The Void.
Yeah. So Caleb won this round.
Well,
What was the final score?
It was 15-12.
Hmm.
And it's only because you spaced off on a couple of the easier ones.
Oh, yeah.
the score does not reflect the battle fought.
Some of those questions were in storylines that I avoided with intent, like Planet Hulk and Punisher on a team.
Oh, Planet Hulk was good, though. It was good. Well, I mean, that's your opinion from somebody that didn't read it.
I did. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's good in the way
ways you can't avoid it and have read it.
actually tried to read it, and then
Oh, okay.
I dropped it. Yeah.
I actually remember. I remember this. Like I remember Matt reading it for the first time and talking about how bad it was.
Oh,
And
that's
I
right.
Specifically ignored a text message because I had nothing nice to say to him.
It's pornography for Hulk fans. Doesn't hold up to substance, but it gets them off.
I love it. I think
I do too.
It's one of my better. It's one of my more favorite. That's great fucking grammar. It's one of my more beloved Greg Pak stories. Pak stories. Sorry.
I am super excited to get to read more books, more stories, or more pages out of the book I was going to talk about, because it's a graphic novel, and I was going to talk about the first story arc, or not first story arc, but the first what would be issue if it weren't a graphic novel.
Can I guess what it was?
Yeah.
Because I wonder if it's the same thing that I picked up this week. Is it a new book?
Only if it came from a Kickstarter.
Oh, then no, it's not. Never mind. I won't guess because I'll be wrong.
I was gonna wonder. It is definitely a Caleb book, though.
Oh, nice. I love Caleb books. The cool thing about Caleb books is that a lot of them come out every week, and you can pick them up from your local comic book shop, like Kapow Comics, if you're in Central Arkansas.
I'm gonna argue that because I don't think a lot of them come out next week.
At least a few do. So there, as we want to. Number one, we hope you enjoyed listening to us miss some really simple and easy trivia questions. I'm embarrassed enough for all of us. We're gonna have to revisit this again. There's been a lot of fun stories that again have either been avoided purposefully or that I've just freaking forgotten. But that was fun. We only ran into one question that's really been kind of retconned that I noticed, or one or two. There was the Ghost Rider question that's been retconned, and there was the Maestro question that's like low key been retconned, but not really. Recently, but I think we should do this again sometime to see if we hit on any other ones. So I don't know if you can like find a way to keep those cards sequestered away or what.
They're already in a box mixed together, but no, we'll figure it out. Yeah. We can do it again for sure.
That was good times. So I am curious, as always, what you fine folks are going to pick up this next, someday next week, but new comics come out on Tuesdays and Wednesdays now, since DC launches them a day early. And there's always new stuff to come out. And as long as you're picking them up legally, that's really the only way that matters. It doesn't matter if you get them digitally via Comixology or somebody else. Maybe you go through an online mailing service, or you support your local place. If you support your local place, put a mask on and wash your hands because, COVID. But what's coming out this next week that you guys are interested in picking up?
I'm going to go with this. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll let you go first last time, and it totally bit me in the ass. So step off, Craig.
I guarantee you this book would not have been your choice. So.
Oh, okay. Well, so I'm interested in, from Image Comics, a new issue of Postal. This is a series that had been created and written by Matt Hawkins and Brian Hill. And that creative team have left the book, and the new writer is actually Stephanie Phillips, as this one starts out. Artist is Cecilia Lovalvo. I'm unfamiliar with that artist, but I'm interested to see what Stephanie Phillips does with this story. So yeah, I'll be picking this one up.
Yeah, she writes crime really well. So
yeah,
I didn't know she was doing this because I love the Postal stuff. That's exciting.
And there's actually, there's actually two writers on this book. It's Stephanie Phillips and Levi Fleming.
I think the Levi Fleming guy won a contest from Top Cow, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And so they're co-writing it together is what I think happened there. Yeah. I'm going to go with Scarenthood #2 by IDW Publishing. Its creative team is Nick Roche and Chris O'Halloran. I talked about this book 3-4 weeks ago on the show. So if you want to know what's going on with it, go back and listen to our old podcast. And why I would want to know what happens in number 2.
Fun stuff. It is fun stuff. I actually haven't gotten to number 1 yet. I've got a giant stack of stuff I have to read, but
I'm sure you do.
Alluded to the book that I'm going to tell folks to pick up next week. Earlier when we were talking about our roundtable, when we were talking about the King in Black, and normally it's a book that I would not pick up because, like we said before, I don't particularly care for crossover books that are not necessary. But this one is right in my wheelhouse. It is the King in Black Namor number 1. Number 1 because it's Namor, but also because it's being written by Kurt Busiek, who I love. I think Kirk's work is amazing. Writer of my favorite Avengers run of all times. Anyway, it's being done by Benjamin Dewey and Jonas Scharf, who is an outstanding colorist, with Sonny Go doing the cover of the work. In this book, like I said, it spins out of the King in Black. It's the chilling story of the birth of Atlantis' greatest villains. So you've got Lady Norma of Atlantis. Of course, you've got Namor. You've got Atuma hanging out. And it's basically the story of them being teenagers. So a little bit of a throwback, a little bit of early Namor. It should be fun stuff. So just because mainly I like Namor, gonna check that out. Plus Kurt Busiek. So why would you not? Really.
Sounds fair to me.
All right. Well, look forward to those books and a few more that are coming out in this next week. I can't wait. There's also, just because Donnie Cates took, kind of front and center of our earlier conversation, he's got another book coming out this next week, crossover number 2, which I think for the most part, we all really enjoyed the first issue.
I think Matt didn't like it.
Matt didn't?
No, I didn't like it.
Yeah. Well,
unintentionally, this is not. I don't set out to bash Donnie Cates. I just.
This has been Matt's kind of hate week on comics.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with King in Black for me. It's not that it was poorly written talking about crossover. It's just that's a trope that I cannot get pulled into. I just it's trope. It's a personal hang up. That's all. It's got nothing to do with quality. Dig it, kids. Dig it.
See, that's the kind of attitude you should have, right?
Yeah.
I likes it. So go check all of those books out and more. And when you check those books out, or you check out the books that you bought this past week or a week before, or you go pull something off of your shelf that you haven't read in forever, where you should do with that information. You should come tell it to us. You should come talk about it on our Facebook group. You should make a post and tell us what you're reading and start up a conversation and intermingle with other people who love this medium who are on our Facebook group, because it's fun times and fun conversations. A lot of times I think people are, and maybe rightfully so, people are scared to talk about comic books on the internet because, trolls tend to love looking for people to troll for, to make a noun a verb. And that
trolls love trolls.
Yeah, they do. And bridges, oddly enough. But it doesn't happen like that on our Facebook group. We do a really good job of monitoring it, and you're free to express opinions, but you can't.
You say that, but we don't really have anybody that trolls.
That's what I'm saying.
We haven't had them.
We've had very few. We've done a good job about cultivating who gets in, and we let folks know real quick that, hey, look, this is not the place for that. And again, we haven't really had, I think, like a handful, like maybe, 2, maybe 4 occasions to tell somebody to, enjoy the sidewalk. But it doesn't really happen. It's a fun place, and I would personally love it more if folks who listen to the podcast or people who are friends of ours or people who just really enjoy comics come and let us know what they're reading. Let us know what new, old, indie, mainstream, doesn't matter. Just if you like it or if you find value in it, you should come chat about it. Maybe you're on the fence about it. Maybe you're like, oh, I part of this I enjoy, part of it I don't. That's information that we want to hear. We would like to conversate with you about that, because it's the ongoing conversation. It's part of the reason we do this show. It's to build a community. It's to make new friends and to have both fun and intellectual conversations about a valid art form, at least in my opinion. So come do that there. And while that's happening, we'll plan on being right back here at the same time, kind of the same place next week, to do this again. And that's about all I have. Do you guys have anything else we need to throw out for the folks this week?
No, I think we've nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Well, all right. Well, in that case, have a great week. Don't forget, masks are important. Wash your hands. Shoot a text message to your mama just because she hasn't heard from you in like 2 weeks. I'm going down my Rolodex of things to do. Other than that, go forth and love some comics.
Woo.
I was waiting. I thought his phone was going to magically cut out again.
Just the dead silence.
Like 4 times in today's episode.
That's so weird. Yeah, it's never done that before. It's weird.
No, I don't know what's going on.
Mine does.
Maybe
occasionally too.
Does it? May just